Let's get Will Z up here, man, our stat guy. Y'all give it up for Will Z.
What's up, everyone? Hey, man, hold on, man. Will Z coming up here. I need some merch. I didn't know there was merch out here. What?
Fresh off the presses.
Come on, man.
Our guy got merchandise. Like, for those who don't know, Will started just his numbers like during the show. Like he would listen to the show and we would be talking about De'Aaron Fox, and he'd be like, "Yeah, De'Aaron is 5 of 10 with 2 minutes left in the game." Like, what? Like, what are you, sir? What are you doing?
I really just forced my way in. That's
well, and he just did that every day, and now Will has become like the go-to guy for numbers, not just for D'Lo and KC, but you can't open up Instagram without seeing Will Z's name, Will Z's tweets on Sacramento Kings graphics.
You can't watch the pre or post game without seeing Will Z's stats.
It's been amazing to get here, and I love because everyone will just like tweet at me like when they have an idea, like, "Hey, what's this?" And I'll just go and find it if I can. It's been amazing.
So in my mind, Will, you're like that GIF from The Hangover.
Oh yeah,
where it's just like the numbers and all of the signs running through your head. And like, is that what happens when you watch the game?
Pretty much. Basically, I just look for trends. I mean, the biggest thing is knowing where to find everything. So it's like I'll just watch the game closely, be like, "Hey, Sabonis did a lot of this tonight," and then I'll go and check. It's like, "Oh yeah, he did that," and here's the number to back it up. And it's just kind of finding what I'm watching, and just that constant idea of what you guys say is the same thing. You guys say something, I'll think of an idea, and I'll go find it.
What I want to know, because you do such a good job of like finding these numbers, and it's like, man, that's exactly what we were thinking. What's your thought when the numbers don't match up?
Oh, it's so disappointing.
Yesterday, fourth quarter fight, his 3-pointers. Yeah. I was like, man, he ain't never made 5%. Actually, he's shooting 31.
Yeah, sorry, kid. It's the worst one I'll put because every stat has a different level of effort to find. Some are just like right away. Some I work pretty hard to get the final number, and when the number doesn't turn out like I want, it's like, oh man, well, there goes an hour. But usually it turns out.
What stood out? You mentioned Domantas Sabonis. Obviously, he had a phenomenal game last night. What stood out the most to you in that kind of grinded out win against Brooklyn?
I think to me it was Malik Monk and Sabonis. And Sabonis, his ability to he has like different pockets of style of play with every other teammate. So him and Monk are exceptional in the pick and roll together. And a lot of that is Monk will run the pick and Sabonis will roll. We don't see that as much with like Herter, where Herter and Sabonis are a lot of on the perimeter getting him those threes. But Sabonis is shooting like 64% off of passes from Monk. And we see that last night where he's just so shifty getting into the paint, and Sabonis is right there for, I don't know how Monk makes those passes. Like just a little drop off. It's amazing. So that's kind of what stood out to me with last night with Herter going out and just Monk being able to kind of pick up that offense without Herter.
It's interesting you say that. That's a phenomenal point by you because that really does happen, right? Like he's got, for the lack of a better word, a better term, he's got different relationships with everybody else out there. He sets different screens and plays in different areas with Fox. He does different things on the perimeter, handoff-wise with Herter.
Yep.
Herter and Keegan are kind of like the same. Seems like he doesn't mess with Harrison at all. and then him and Malik Monk have their own little version how they play basketball together, man. And all of it is seamless. Like all of it is like
it shows how high their whole team basketball IQ is. Like they just play so well together and are such a smart team. And I think Sabonis is the pinnacle of that.
Real quick, they had a play the other day that felt like early 2000s. I don't know if you guys remember this, but it was in the Bucks game, probably fourth quarter, and Herter went back door. Sabonis hit him. The help came immediately, and it was like as soon as Herter touched the ball, he bounced pass right back to Sabonis for the floater. It was like pace of body. Like, I swear that's
that the one where Sabonis like trailed the whole play? Yep, I remember that.
I said, this is special.
Yeah.
You're listening to G-Lo and KC on KIFM West Sacramento 98.5 FM, KRX QHD2 Sacramento, ESPN 1320, always live on the free Odyssey app. We're live on twitch.tv/ESPN 1320, youtube.com/ESPN 1320, live from Sky River Casino, 32 brews, 70 TVs playing the NCAA tournament right now, food and drinks everywhere. If you're not here right now, we hope you can make your way out here. Obviously, we'll be doing the show live till 4 o'clock, but we'll be hanging out well in to the evening. The Statty Batty will see with us. Sabonis now is the all-time leading rebounder for a single season or a single season rebound record.
Yeah, in 67 games.
Like how?
It's just he's so big, and what amazes me is it's the rebounds. They seem like such a simple stat, but it affects so much of the game, and it's the reason why the Kings are, I think they're 5th in the league in opponent second chance points. Like that's a huge stat, and that's all from Sabonis. Like his ability to grab those rebounds and get so many per game affects so many different facets of the game. Allows them to lead in fast break points too. I think they're 7th in that category or 6th, and I don't know how he grabs the boards. He's always getting beat up. He'll get hit in the head and still grab a board.
He's playing the fourth quarter last night when he had like 3 offensive rebounds and he ended up losing the ball. But I mean, that was just chaos. Yeah. And he was coming away with it every time. And then that happened. I think like the next possession, he came down and got another offensive rebound. Yeah. He just doesn't stop.
Yeah, he's like top 5 in the league in second chance points, player-wise, looking at player-specific stats. Like he just is so, his hands, just such good hands, which is a very underrated thing for basketball, I feel like.
To your point, last night, I thought I wrote this right. I wanted to make sure I checked on it. 0 fast break points for the Nets last night. 0 second chance points for the Nets.
Wow.
Love it.
Come on, man. 0 second chance points. That's crazy.
And that's coming off the heels of Mike Brown, like laying into them a few games ago for rebounds. And since that speech, when they won, they have just been like dominant on the boards. They allow, they're allowing like the fewest rebounds per game. I got too many notes on here. They don't allow rebounds. Like 41.9, 5th least in the league. So teams just aren't rebounding well against them. And when they do, Mike Brown lets us know, and then they're like, okay, we'll get back on that.
I love that.
And that seems to be the spot where, and we'll talk more about this with James Ham when he joins us shortly, but that seems to be the spot where Mike has no problem calling guys out.
Oh, no.
Because it feels like rebounding is such like a hustle effort type thing that essentially what he's saying in those press conferences, whether it's, you know, Keegan or some of the different guys that he's brought up, hey, you need to put more effort into this. Hey, you need to go out there and work harder. Hey, you need to do more out there to give your team a better opportunity to win.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I love about Kessler Edwards is his knack for going after offensive rebounds is just through the roof. Like you'll see him, he doesn't always get them, but he'll always go to the ball. And that's such a skill being able to see it come off of the rim and know where it's going to go. And then having the hustle, like you said, Damian, to go get the ball. It's when you combine that skill with the hustle that Mike Brown is instilling in the team, you're going to get some special stuff.
I know you're a stats guy, but you watch the game too. Where do you think they go with her being out? Do you think they stay with Terrence Davis and keep that rotation, so to speak, intact, or does he start Kessler Edwards? Does he start? I don't think Fleek's in the running. Does he start?
I don't know. It's hard between because Kessler Edwards, he feels like more of a 3 or 4. And I don't know if him, Barnes, and Murray on the floor, how that would look together. It'd be a lot of length. Like, that's definitely a big lineup. But I wouldn't be surprised if he went back to TD in that instance. Kevin Huerter's only missed 3 games, so we don't have much to choose from in terms of looking at it. But, I mean, the Kings are 3-0 in those games. So I feel like TD might get the call just because that's what we've seen before. I feel like it definitely won't be Monk. I'm with you guys on that. He'll kind of keep the rotations.
Is there any area that you think they're improving, or you can see that they're improving?
Yeah, looking at the last 2 games specifically, their points in the paint, they've held teams to 36 and 30 points in the paint, and that's an extremely low number. They are one of, and again, it's not just the raw number, it's the percentage. Opponents are shooting like 51% at the rim in the last 2 games against them, which the lowest mark in the league is like 63. So it's their ability to not only limit the number of points in the paint, but get that paint defense up where that percentage is going down. So for me, I think the improvements, the offense is what it is. Like, it's amazing. We know that. It's always going to lie on the defensive end. And what stood out, I know 2 games, it's kind of too small of a sample size, but that paint defense that they've shown recently, if they can keep that up, there's no telling what they'll do.
I was saying that the Kings could possibly be improving as the playoffs.
Yeah.
You can't do
Could
it.
the Kings be turning up here in the
Is that
second part
allowed?
of the season?
I didn't think that was allowed for the
Everybody
Kings.
else was going to do it.
It's not allowed here in Sacramento.
Everybody else is going to play playoff basketball except for
Yeah.
Sacramento.
Yeah.
Apparently. You guys talked about Kessler Edwards, Malik Monk, what this looks like with Kevin Huerter out. How about the second unit? Like, I just watching games without stats and numbers and ideas to run stats and numbers feel like that second unit is such a difference sometimes between the team winning and losing, but really just an eye test tells me if this second unit is hitting at anything close to its capacity, that's the difference between going to the playoffs and advancing in the playoffs.
Yeah. And their second unit is so unique that it's just like the starters. They have so many different players they can turn to. They don't rely on, like, Lou Williams was like the guy off the bench. They don't have one person that has to score every game. It could be a Monk game. It could be a Lyles game. It could be a Kessler Edwards game.
Yeah.
It could be a Metu game. Like, we've seen all of those throughout the season. Anyone on the bench can go off on any given night. And by go off, I mean 15, 20 points. And they are just so well-rounded. Which team has a better 6 through 10 than the Kings? I honestly can't think of many.
Really can. Like, when you pound for pound,
Yeah.
I don't think you can. Like you mentioned, they've got at least, off the top of my head, I'm thinking at least 3 guys who go for 25.
Easy.
At any time.
Yeah.
At any time. And that's before you talk about Davion, who hasn't done it much this year, but we've seen it in his career that he can score at that level from time to time. So I agree with you, 6 to 10.
Yeah.
You might be talking about the team.
This might be the dumbest thing I ever asked you. Do you have a favorite stat?
Oh,
I know you're big into fast break points in terms of winning and losing, but, like, do you have a favorite stat?
I think this year it's Fox's restricted area field goal percentage. It's the one I always come back to. I feel like I spam Twitter with it way too much, too. It's like, I know I just tweeted this out, but here it is again.
Well, I think Mark Jones was all over that tweet, right?
The field goal percentage, yeah. That was the field goal percentage by defender height. That was fun. I mean, anytime Mark Jones quote tweets a tweet, that's a big time. But it's just, I don't know. The Kings team has so many good stats this year where I'm so lucky. Yep. No, they are so good. Like, there's no limit to the good stats I can find. It's amazing. And it's maybe just that. I don't have a favorite one because there's so many to choose from.
Offense is crazy. I got to notice that. I found something yesterday looking at the Kings history. What is assist percentage?
Oh, I don't know, but I can find out.
Yeah.
The NBA has the glossary.
It's in their basketball reference. Mike D'Antonio is the Kings leader in assist percentage, and Justin Jackson is the Kings leader in turnover.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Oh,
They
man.
left that one out.
Oh, Justin Jackson. What a time.
Hey, I just want to ask him real quick. Since we're not going to see you, do you have anything with Washington, like something to watch before?
I haven't looked at the numbers yet. I'll dive into them tomorrow morning, but yeah, I don't have anything. I wish I did.
Got to stay tuned. Got to stay tuned. Got to stay locked in. Follow Will Z. Follow ESPN.
Well, that first game wasn't good.
No.
That was the bad Christmas time.
That's the one that let down your whole family.
The whole family came to see the beam
So
and
sad.
saw the Wizards destroy the Kings. at the Golden One Center. How did you start? Like, how did this all start? Like, I outlined how it started with us, but how did it start for you?
It started with you, actually.
Oh.
So I don't know if you remember this, but you were doing the podcast at the time, and you had the text line, and it was Willie Cauley-Stein was free agent.
Shout out, Willie.
Oh, man. And I wanted to try and figure out how much money he'd make and like what percent of free agents move around. And text you this like probably made no sense because it was just I didn't know how to word things. But I sent you the text on the text line, and I don't remember if it was that one or another one that I did. You gave me your personal number, and I just started like texting you, and it all grew from there. So like literally, you have propped me up and helped me get to where I would not be here without your help. And I can't say thanks enough.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's dope. I don't know what to say after that. I did not know that.